Team USA practice. Again, Cade heavy show. He says, I feel great. I'm happy to be here just to be in an environment like this, playing at a high level. The off season, you could be anywhere playing, so it's a lot of fun trying to make most of it. I read this quote, and after I'm reading the scrimmage, it got me thinking, like, do you think part of the reason Cade joined the select team was just to show the basketball world why he was the number one pick? Because part of me does, like, if I was him and I was on social media, which I don't think he's on a ton, I think he was just talking about that to someone else, but seeing some of these tweets or these posts about him being picked fifth or being ranked real low on some guy's list or whatever, it would agitate me where I would want to get on the court and just show out against some of the best players in the world. So I'm going to ask you the same question. Do you think part of the reason Cade joined the select team was to show the basketball world why he was the number one pick?
I'm going to say no, because I don't think he has an ego like that. I think the biggest reason why he did join the select team was he wanted to play top tier competition.
Okay.
And I'm happy that he's pain free, by the way. I'm happy that his calf, not his calf, his shin isn't bothering him anymore. Because I've seen some people on Twitter kind of labeling him as a bust because of the injury stuff. It's just like, he played 12 games and he had a shin injury and he had surgery. There are players that had the same injury that are still playing in the NBA. I think Drew Holiday was, a recent player that had the same injury and he's still playing at a high level. But I think the biggest reason why Cade did join the select team and not the senior team was he wanted to get those reps in, but he also wanted to, physically prepare for the NBA season. And I think the chemistry him and Jalen Duren are building during the select scrimmages is something that, they probably wouldn't get to do until training camp.
A lot of people aren't talking about having that extra time to play with one of your teammates against NBA, pretty much like an all-star game, essentially, and to, again, show out, but to build that chemistry with your big man, getting a little two-man game going where it works so well, where a coach is like, fuck, switch these guys, don't let them play together. That's pretty cool. And it's a lot of guys just don't get that in the off season.
It's really funny. This is a topic I saw and I thought it was really interesting. So they're making Cade Cunningham play like Luka Doncic.
Yep.
Because Team USA is already like, yeah, we're probably gonna, make the quarterfinals or the finals. We want to be mentally prepared for Luka Doncic, so they had him run kind of like a Luka centric offense, which I found like as a compliment. Like Steve Kerr and Grant Hill and Tyronn Lue, like they're using him in that like Luka type of offense, and I found that really interesting that the coaches kind of feel that Cade is capable of kind of like playing that type of offense. And that's what they kind of see, like what he could possibly maybe do for the Pistons, kind of being like that focal point of just being that point guard, being a point guard that's, going to be in a high pick and roll all the time. So I found that interesting. I don't know about you.
No, definitely. But I also think it's like, man, how much scouting are these guys doing for the regular season to go up against Cade and the Detroit Pistons? They're like, we're going to try to take as much as we can because we got to find a way to eventually stop this guy from doing like a Luka impression during the NBA regular season. It seems like Cade is really starting to get popular, but also like scaring the rest of the NBA too now that he's coming back from this injury, because again, he is a real special player. I wouldn't say he's like generational. I hate when people throw that around, but you can just see the potential. And it feels so good now because like we've been talking about him for so long and we knew how good he could be. And it always felt like there were some people out there like, well, of course you're going to talk about Cade Cunningham the way you are. You guys are Pistons fans. It's like, well, no. We're not just doing this because we're Pistons fans. We're doing this because Cade happens to be a really good basketball player. And we just all cannot wait for him to be able to show out. And now that NBA coaches like Steve Kerr are complimenting him like that, it makes me feel good as a fan and as a podcaster, as someone that talks about the Pistons, because we weren't just blowing smoke up each other's butts. It was just Cade happens to be a really good basketball player, and we were kind of right.
Well, I think we're kind of spoiled also because not every NBA fan is going to watch 82 games of the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah.
I think we can both agree there. The casual fan might just watch some highlights on YouTube or, catch some NBA TV where they play maybe 10 seconds of Cade Cunningham. So I think sometimes we can be biased towards our players, and that's okay because we are a Detroit Pistons podcast. But we also want to kind of tell you guys, like, Cade Cunningham is a special player.
Yeah.
And we knew he was special. And I think sometimes when you don't get to watch someone night in and night out, maybe you sometimes forget how great they actually are.